Well, good evening, folks off YouTube. My name's Ian. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my shed. I've just put a video up. Been a couple of weeks since I did so. The comments are like, where have you been? What have you been doing? And why? There's nothing changed in here. Well, that's kind of like, how long's a piece of string? Although I know the answer to that one, that's twice the length, the middle to the end. However, by the by, fourth month I've been retired, semi-retired. I've kind of lost a month. It's set me back. That 1 month that set me back I made it 6 weeks. So I did a unit clearance that got me a lot of copper. Worked out well, but low. Prices have gone high. Weighed it in. Will prices go higher? I don't know. I was watching something on YouTube yesterday. It was 2 weeks old, and it's kind of thing. I saw shark scrappers short, and that came up after that, and it was about, there's at least 3, maybe 4 copper mines in the world that have all got problems. And one, it had something like a cubic mile mudslide and killed a few miners, unfortunately. Miners. Are they miners, even though... Yeah, they're miners. It's open cast mining. So they're still miners. And you've got to feel sorry for the people that have to do that job, that have to rely on that type of work to make a living in those countries. By the by, I got through 98% of that. There's no point having cable that isn't stripped when copper hits the roof. So, last couple of weeks, all I've done is strip all the cable I can literally put my hands on in time. I've more. Certainly got more. Part of my problem was coax cable. Oh, there we go. Reels of coax cable, copper cord or copper sheath, not copper, but it's copper cord within a aluminium, within a dielectric insulator, copper sheath. Start again. Copper cord and a dielectric insulator, aluminium sheath, and then copper sheath with an outer plastic protective coating. I know in the Americas they don't use copper to create the outer sheathing, they use steel, and it's worth next to nothing. Well, I took a reel to the yard, to the old anvil yard. I showed the guy that does the estimating, and he said, look, we've had this discussion, not with me, with somebody else, and said, best I can give you is irony. And you're thinking, oh, should I try and sell it? Before I get to that, just let me point out, 8:25 in the evening, it's time to, it's a bit early this, and it's only, hi Chris, I see you, it's only Saturday the 25th, not long before we get a turnover. But I was out shopping today, October the 26th, and we're already out with the Santa ales. So I'm going to try this Santa's Big Red IPA by Love Lane Brewery. And whilst I was shopping, I was in the Whoopsie aisle. That's the reduction, you know, aisle, and there was Kraken black spice rum, roast coffee. So I couldn't reduce that. I couldn't refuse that. That was reduced down to something like £18 for that. So I've got myself a nice tub of hot water. I'll top that up, fill that up. But we was talking about the RG6. Look, you go online, 4 miles away from myself, 20 quid for that. Same one, 15 quid, but I've got to go about 14 miles to buy that. 15 quid for a big reel, reduced to £10. And it goes on and on and on. And see that one? Yeah. Well, I've got one there as well. I need a brew. So I believe that's the Liverpool brewery. Triangle, Bridgewater Street, Baltic Triangle, Liverpool, 5% IPA. Nice can. Goes nicely in that hole. It's not often you get a friction fit. One moment. That's a nice IPA. You buy that in a pub and think that's nice. Anyway, Kraken. I can tell you, I've had this straight, obviously, and it tastes just like drinking coffee, which is dangerous, of course. If you never tried the Kraken roast coffee, just try it. It's beautiful. It's just like drinking coffee. Cheers. Right, enough of that. Into shed. So into shed. We're a little bit behind. It's getting down a little bit. I'm making a bit of space that way. There's a video. I'm halfway through there, so don't worry about that. Bag of rubbish. Right. Half a reel was a full reel of this RG6 Coax. It really is a waste of time because 1, 2, that's the third reel, and that probably less weight than a kilogram, and that is what I've got out of them. But, and this is the bit. This is the crux of the matter. So I'm a hobbyist scrapper. Sometimes I do get lucky. Over the years I've built up some nice contacts. Sometimes I'm flooded. I take on more than what I should do. And this is one of those instances. I've ended up with reels and reels of something that now to the change to fibre optics, I've become relatively worthless. The guy who gave it to me. He didn't want them, you know, and I'm like, whoa, you can't give me full reels, unbroken reel. I'll take it, I'll sell it. And then you start looking and seeing, yeah, you can sell it for £5, £6, £10. How long? Nobody uses it. You buy a satellite system of Sky, and Sky now do Sky Glass, where it's all built into a television and you don't have an aerial. You buy cable. Yeah, there you go, cable. Comes to your house through the underground. A tiny little bit that comes in. No one is using coax anymore. Analog TV aerials for free view. Everyone had an aerial on the roof. And then they did away with analog singles, so that your aerial no use anymore. You get free view. You can get free view. That's about it. Nobody uses free view. Everybody's got something free with the television. It's all built in. That's the way things go. So, coax. That's the fourth. Did I say that was the fourth one? Pain in the backside. Got to be dealt with. I've brought it home, so I have to deal with it, or I throw it away. I would probably be better just advertising that on Marketplace, a 100-metre roll for £3. I think I'll be quids in. However, I can't be bothered doing that. I can't be bothered. I thought it'd be quicker to strip it. It isn't. This is ended up what I've ended up doing. Yeah, so of course this is one of the reasons I've been missing. I've been spending an inordinate amount of waste of time. Probably been cheaper for me to throw it in the bin. Right, I tried the wire stripper. Oh, it's not good enough. All it did was crush it, and then you cut through it, and it just gave lots of little fuzzy bits, which were a pain, and you had to scrape them out of the cup. No good. So I've gone old school. Old school. I've got a Stanley knife blade, a craft blade. It's not a Stanley, it's something else actually. We've got a hole drilled through. We just banged that in with an hammer on an angle until we got where we wanted to be. I'll show you how that works. It really is about, come on, feeling it. You see it's making a score, but it ain't cutting through it like it did at the beginning. Hard to do one-handed. I'll show you what you don't want to do. So, like I say, I just drilled a hole through the right size, tapped it down until I got where I want. But if I lift up on this side, I can cut straight through it. The only problem is you cut straight through it, you end up leaving some of it stuck on the inside, like that. Not easy. And you've got a 20-foot piece, because you're trying to do it's taking an inordinate amount of time to pull that little bit out. So You don't want to do that. What you want to do is tap it and tap it and tap it. Until it's just touching. That's how I've got it. Because I lift it up. There we go. Feel it. On this hand, I'm pulling down, not pulling up, until I get to the end. So when I get to about here, I'm going to pull up. Because when I pull up, it's going to cut straight through. So there we go. There we go. We got the last bit where I cut straight through. It cut through the outer sheathing, right down to the inner sheathing, which means you can pull a furry bit off. However, if you've done it as I've just done it, you've just scored that. You can hardly even see the score line, but it just means it comes off like that. And then, like a Chinese finger trap, you can just pull it back, pull it out. You know that? Which is nickel plated copper, and you can wind it up. Voila! Voila! You end up with this. Peel it. Yeah, peel it back. You end up with the aluminium sheathing. And then you end up with that. I've cut a suitable length off that. And then with me, I don't know what it is, but I found this a long time ago. It was a kitchen knife that's had a lot of sharpening. And that's about it. Well, and there we go. And there we go. I can go in the fire. And that's a bit of thread. I'm just playing there. Right, so we've got a big sack full of outer sheathing. And 2 next to nothing bags of copper. Now I'm sure I'm not the only one that brings things home thinking, that's worth something, and ends up only being worth its scrap value. And sometimes getting that scrap value out isn't worth its time. I got them for free. So what do I do with them? Do I just take them to the tip, throw them away? Or do I at least turn them into a tiny amount of money? We've all done it. Sorry, weren't quite flat enough. That was 4. 1 more than that big reel. That's why I've been absent. I've been wasting my time. Once I've done it, I've done it. As long as no more comes, I'm on a winner. Ian in his shed, drinking the last of his Santa beer. Santa Ale in October. What is the world coming to? For that, Ian, I'll just catch you in the next one. Good night.